two. Defeat. Round three. Defeat. Round one. Defeat. Round two.
No. gets up and moves way too damn fast.
Defeat. Round 3. Defeat. Round 1. Victory! Round 2. Victory! Round 3. Defeat. Round 4. Victory! Round one.
Fight to the last man!
Defeat. Round two.
Do I have to kill all of them myself? Take as many of them down as you can! Fight for your lives!
Defeat.
Keep on! You can rest in your graves!
Round three.
What do I pay you for? Fight! That is how it's done, you see? Keep on! You can rest in your graves!
Victory.
War.
Round four.
War. I am war. Prove your worth, you dog!
Defeat.
Fight you? That's not a trial. That's an execution. What do I pay?
Round one. Defeat. Round two. Victory! Round three. Defeat. Round four.
Blah.
Round one.
Fight for your lives! Do I have to kill all of them myself?
Gli arrivi con rispetta!
Apparently you can't parry when you're out of stamina.
Defeat. Round two.
What do I pay you for? Fight!
Gli arrivi con rispetta! Gli arrivi! Gli arrivi!
Keep calm! You rust in your grave!
Defeat.
Take us
Round three. Gli arrivi con rispetta! Gli arrivi con rispetta! Defeat.
you. That's not a trial. That's an execution.
Yeah, babe. Hello? Yeah. Alright, viewers, I'm sorry about this. I'm kind of on the phone having a decent conversation with somebody. I swear I'll be right back in a moment. I will be playing, but I just won't be on the mic. So I hope you just enjoy the gameplay.
Victory! Round 2. Victory! Round 3.
And damn, that was a lot of wreck. Oh, did y'all see that? Oh man, could dab on him. Could dab on this fool. Like, oh man, that was savage of me.
Defeat. Round 4.
Louis Sargas. Alright, it's your lady friend. Ah, dude, I hate people who do that fucking shit, man. God damn it. And he's gonna be a freaking cunt and just sit there and spam the freaking
Round 5.
infinite combo. Bullshit. When did they make him like as fast as? No, I can't say what the fuck. Who am I thinking of? Wow, dude, like, all people are gonna start slinging now is lots. They need to nerf him again. Like, at least his speed. This is coming from, like, an Orochi main. Like, seriously, my speed is too fast. Like, that's not very good. I really don't like how he's so fast. I really don't. That just, I don't know, that kind of kills it for me. Because now he seems like stupidly OP. PS4, there, Lewis. Actually, surprisingly, I guess they fixed the thing on the side of the screen. But now it's actually broadcasting your all's comments right under the on-air logo. So, which is awesome. I'm glad they finally got that fixed, so I don't have to use my phone. But, yeah, I fought this same guy like 3 times already. And, like, I wrecked his ass with, I'm on Xbox. Damn it. Okay. I have a feeling I know who Lewis is. I'm just not gonna say anything because it's you. Well, you and hell, you're the only one watching. It's you, isn't it, Caden? Just say Y or N for yes or no in the comment section.
That's not a trial. That's an execution.
Defeat. Round 2.
Well, Lewis, to be fair, I personally, I'm not sure. Well, the fact that you say you're on Xbox, I'm sure I don't know you, which is surprising. But yeah, you know, hey, if you're a new viewer, that's great. You know, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the channel. I will say this is more of a rage channel than an actual gameplay channel, because Lord knows I rage it. You know, I'm just like everybody. Everybody rages a little bit of video games, and let's be honest here, people. Shit, that was close, but yeah. But to be fair, you know, I mean, if people have told me to start a rage channel, I don't know. I'll give it a shot. If people enjoy it, to be honest, I'll make it really outrageous and stupid when I do it. When I do rage.
Round 3.
Like, I'll try to say the stupidest shit ever. Probably get demonetized, but I mean, hell, this is more of a thing for the fun of it than it is really like, you know, trying to make a living off of YouTube. Because hell, with my amount of subscribers, that shit's not gonna happen. So, oh shit, did I parry her? Okay, there we go. That's what I was wondering.
Victory.
But yeah, seriously, if you enjoy, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Round 4.
I don't know. Streaming, I calmed down a lot. Because, I mean, I have anger issues as it is. But, I mean, I don't know why. I do like his new moveset. I really do like it though. I mean, if they could keep the moveset but just slow his swing down.
Do I have to kill all of them myself?
I'd be happy if they could slow him back down at least a little bit. I mean, keep him pretty fast, but not too fast. The speed that he swings at right now is really stupidly fast. Like, it's Aramasha fast, which is something I really like, but also don't like at the same time. I prefer him the way he was, because even though, yeah, he was kind of slow, his speed wasn't stupidly OP, but it was OP enough to where, I mean, it wasn't even OP. His speed was moderate, to say the least, for him. It was good. It was golden. I mean, coming from a main of him, I'd honestly prefer his slower attack speed. It allows me to play more drawn back and methodical instead of how can I say this? Instead of more straightforward and aggressive. But I mean, then again, the straightforward aggressive playstyle is what a lot of people are. Oh, I already have my phone plugged in already. Is what a lot of people are looking for in an assassin, which is understandable. I mean, that's exactly how most of them are played. I mean, for instance, take Berserker. Berserker usually doesn't let up unless, you know, they run out of stamina. Then they go on the offensive. But take Peacekeeper and Gladiator for a spell. They're they're extremely good. They're assassins, and they're extremely good because one, I mean, Peacekeeper, she's good as it is. I don't prefer her because she's labeled as easy, like, she's labeled as a medium. I really think she should be labeled as an easy because her move set is so easy to, you know, to replicate. And you can find countless YouTube tutorials on just different sections of her, like, oh, you know, it's better to fake this and just different stuff of that nature. And so I think it's better, personally speaking, if they labeled her as easy. Given the fact that they're labeling her as medium, I could understand where they're coming from if you throw in parrying instead of just her regular attacks with it. She does become a more complex character, but that's not how a lot of people choose to play her. A lot of people choose to play her in a more aggressive, let me guard break spam as much as possible. Which is understandable, you know, that a lot of people who pick her up do. I mean, hell, my stepdad recently got the game on his gaming computer and has picked her up as his character of choice. Now, this guy is going to get annoying fast, and he's going to get very old fast, because all he does is swing, and doesn't care where he swings. It's people who do stuff like this, and it's the reason why it killed Aramusha for everybody. It's the reason why as soon as Aramusha came out, people, like, flocked in the masses to get him. Because Aramusha was labeled as a hybrid, even though he had assassin-like qualities, which is something that they really shouldn't have done. Personally, they should have labeled him as an assassin, but I understand where they came from with it. They already had an assassin. Nice try. Surprisingly, that's actually a good stride against them. Is there's just, well, actually, surprisingly, that's something that I mean, because I took a couple years of Kung Fu. I took like 2 years of Kung Fu. Depressingly, my dojo was literally just a scam. It was a scam dojo. So I didn't get to learn a lot that I wanted to. I hate people who do this because they're fucking gay. I have no problem with gay people, but when you become a faggot, that's when we got problems. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, the sheer amount of dodge attack that went into that was fucking retarded. That honestly made my brain hurt.
Round 4.
But it's an old proverb that I was taught by someone who actually gave a shit about the program. It was called Silver Dragon Martial Arts Academy. But legitimately though, it was something that I was taught while at Kung Fu camp for like the summer. I don't know why it's not doing the other thing. It was said when fighting angry blind man, best to just stay out of the way. Yeah. You can't even touch him because all he does is swing. You're not good. You're literally just using his... This is what I mean. He honest to God, like, he needs a nerf. Coming from someone who plays him, like, quite often, like, seriously, he's my main. He's the only character I have who's rep 4. I have a lot of rep 3s, 2 rep 1s. Yeah, I'm not really that high. Because, to be honest, I gave up on this game for a while. I mean, especially with its non-dedicated servers, lag was a really big issue, and I prefer to play a game that's pretty polished. So I stopped playing this and picked up Rainbow Six Siege a lot. I used to have a really good team that I liked to play with. Sadly, we all kind of disbanded after a while. But getting back into this game, the amount that they like to change stuff on the fly, it makes me feel like like even the developers don't know where they're wanting to go. They're like, here, let's throw shit at a wall and see if it sticks. It's give a dude the ability to poke somebody in the chest and kill them instantly. I mean, that's literally one of Aramusha's, like, that's one of Aramusha's kills. That's literally one of his executions. When this game originally, when it first came out, shit you not, if you looked at anything about it, it said most realistic, let's see, how do they put that? Most realistic medieval fighting game. Which made me laugh, because when I played the beta, oh lord, it was ridiculous. I mean, there was no parrying system at all during the beta. There was no parry, which is really funny, to say the least.
Round 1.
Because let me rephrase that. There was a parry, but only one character had it, and if you learned how to do it, like, because it was kind of a secretive thing, if you learned how to do it, it was pretty much game over for everybody else. I mean, it was Warden. Warden was the only one who had a parry at the time, and oh my lord. I was a Nobushi main. A lot, really. I hate people who do that shit. Really, just, yeah, is that all you can do? Is just wait till someone's out of stamina and just throw them down as much as possible? Is this seriously how you win? Like, you're honest to god trash, man. That's not a guarantee. I should have gotten a chance on that, but whatever. I hate people who try to play Lawbringer. You seriously rep 2 and you bought that, bro? Really?
Round 2.
You learn something new every day, Louis. But I seriously, the beta was oddly. I mean, it was. I would say, as shitty as it was, it is probably the best version of this game by far. With the exception that everybody wanted to play Warden, and that Warden was the only one who had parry. Even though Warden, is this seriously all you're gonna do? Are you seriously that much faggotry? Like, let's be honest here, bro. You're Lookalotopus Dinosaur. Actually, no, you're really not, because, I mean, Mr. Poonslayer over here probably has never touched a woman in his life. Because he's like, look at me, I can just wait this game all my entire freaking adult life away. I'm not even out of high school, and I can tell you're a virgin. Anyway, nice try. But you failed. But, like, this game, the best, like, even though it was still laggy as shit because they still didn't have, like I said, if they, like, they didn't have dedicated servers. So it was still pretty shitty when it comes to lag, but it was still probably the best overall state of the game. Because everything was pretty much balanced, with the exception of Warden. Which was surprising, because now everybody's like, oh, Warden's not OP. And they complain about it. Oh, motherfucker, dude. Really? Wow, you are so dishonorable. Dude, you're garbage. You seriously just threw me in the fire to death. That's all you did. And you get pissed. I swear. I hate faggots who are like this. Oh, dude, I'm a sophomore.
Round 4.
I'm a sophomore in high school. It's just why I didn't touch square. How about this? I'm not gonna. Oh, you're a junior. Ha, nice try. Still did damage to you, but you have yet to do damage to me.
Victory.
Thanks. But it's, I don't know. It's just the best. Like I said, the beta was the best version of this game ever. You didn't have any OP characters. I mean, hell, they started making this game with the idea of it being realistic, and then they just said, "Huh, let me just throw this way off," because they brought in Shaman, which killed it. I like. Centurion and Shinobi were alright in the beginning, but like, cause no one, I mean, no, it really didn't matter, cause Shinobi and, because, you know, Shinobi and freaking Centurion weren't all that OP, they were able to be fought. Nice try, but I can dodge that. Oh my god, really? The running guard break is all you want to do, dude. Like, that's seriously all you're good at. Here, let me run up and guard break you. You've yet to parry me. Like, I mean, this entire day I've played most of that character, and I've played a lot of Lawbringer. Oh lord. Conqueror main here, rep 14, but hated how they reworked him. I hated how they reworked him too. I was actually, before the rework, I was honest to God trying to, I honestly thought, I was like, you know what, maybe I can make him my main. And it literally, it was a thought that crossed my mind. I could make him in my main. But like, I was like, well, you know, he's pretty OP because he has that superior block. And I was like, you know, superior block's really good. But then I was like, is he the question I couldn't figure out is he the only character who has it? Which is something I'm still not entirely sure about. I don't remember if Shigoki has it or not. I know that Shigoki, the freaking heavy that he is, I want to say he has it, and I know that Warlord has it. Most shield characters do, but I'm still not quite sure if Shigoki has it. And if he doesn't, then that makes something very interesting. That means that Shigoki is the only shield character who doesn't have it, which is interesting in a way because Aramasha makes up for that. But the whole idea that I'm trying to get behind here is, why didn't they just fix Shigoki to have it and give him more of a moveset? Because Shigoki's, I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, Shigoki's moveset is pretty shit. I mean, it's literally, there's no combos to it. It's just, oh, here, let me just beat the shit out of you and headbutt you a couple times. There's nothing really much there. I mean, and even the character, like, the people who want to kind of work him kind of can't, because like the people who want to work him kind of can't because they realize that there's not much there to work with. I mean, he's a fat man who legitimately like has, I mean, he really can't do very much. He swings around a baseball bat, that's about it. So, I mean, he swings around the spike club, but what I'm thinking is that if they actually took a look at the martial art of that weapon, they could come up with a decent moveset for him, even with his weight drawbacks. I'm sure there's some way to actually, for him to be at least salvageable by some means in the game. I mean, because he's practically useless other than oh, here, let me piss off some people by just constantly headbutting them. I mean, he's literally just a troll character. And same as Shaman or Aramasha. Aramasha's just a troll. Shaman's a troll because all people do is use her for her stupidly OP combo. I mean, I don't mind certain people who have bleed. It's just, I mean, you've gone too far when that bleed gives them health. Because, I mean, for instance, there's multiple characters who do bleed. AKA Nobushi. Nobushi does bleed. Shinobi does bleed when he gets his, shit, what is that called? Deflect. When he gets his deflect, he does bleed. And so does Peacekeeper. But these people don't get health back when they do it. None of them get health back. So why in the Foog do they give it to her? That just doesn't make sense. I get that she's supposed to be a shaman. That's, you know, kind of self-explanatory. But they really could have just labeled her as a cannibal and just been done with it. Because that's literally all they did to her. I mean, if they had came up with some, I guess, some small way of an idea to make her at least somehow workable, other than, oh, here, let me just ram you with my face while you're wearing full plate armor and somehow not suffer a nosebleed and somehow not also have back problems. I get that she doesn't speak because she was in the woods for a long time. If you ever, like, I get that. I completely understand that. You know, it's a really interesting concept to have her, but she doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, he makes sense. Gladiator makes sense. Centurion makes sense because, you know, the knights are European. And, you know, at this, like, probably I'd say about this point in time, they were making their expansion toward Italy and, well, let's just put a broad statement and say Rome and Greece. To be completely honest, a lot of the stuff that Centurion does, he should have been Gladiator. I get what they were doing with Gladiator when they made him. I completely understand that. Like, I get it. Hey, you know, he has a buckler and a pitchfork. Typical Gladiator. But what they didn't do is they didn't give him a lot of emotes that really scream Gladiator. Like, they have Ready the Rumble, which, I mean, it's alright. The coin toss is pretty self-explanatory that he's a Gladiator. Let's see. Trying to... Actually, I think it's actually it. Nope. Moment of Silence, Twister. That one I could say. These two would probably give you a pretty clear indication that these three give you a pretty clear indication that if you weren't given his name, you could say, hey, he's Gladiator. That one just looks stupid, personally speaking, but where they made up for that is with his executions. Like Maximum Carnage. How Dare You and Skilled Performer honestly say a lot about it. Because How Dare You, that's something I can actually see happening in a legitimate fight. I mean, I wouldn't see it killing the person, but I could see, you know, if the Emperor of Rome, or, well, no, I wouldn't say Emperor. Let's see. It's not the King. Oh, yeah, I can see how it would be the Emperor. If the Emperor said, you know, gave you the thumbs down, you know, don't kill him, because, you know, backed by popular belief, thumbs up didn't mean that, which I liked how they did that with Centurion. That's pretty historically accurate, But thumbs up didn't mean let him live. Thumbs down meant let him live. Thumbs up meant kill him. And that's something I really liked, and I would have loved to see it with Gladiator instead of Centurion. And skilled performer, it makes sense. That is something I could actually see happening. I mean, minus the leg sweep. But I could see him, punching someone in the face. Well, not even punching someone in the face. I could see him hitting someone in the head with the back of the trident. And I could see him maybe knocking them to the ground with that. Because that's a pretty hard hit. And they're probably already weak and weary from, the constant battle. And probably already pretty severely damaged by that point. So a good conk to the face probably sends someone on their ass by that point. I mean, realistically. And that little twisty stab thing he does right there, that just makes it really apparent. But I just don't understand why they didn't take off with that and make him different in a way. I mean, I like the concept of him. I love what they tried to do, but in hindsight, they didn't do a good job with it. They took a concept and they ran with it, but then they realized that they screwed up and put it on the wrong character. I mean, if you're gonna name someone Gladiator, at least make him somewhat decently comparable to an actual gladiator. I mean, the trident is pretty self-explanatory. So is a lot of the stuff he has. Is pretty self-explanatory. Like his helmet, the way he is. If you look at any, I guess you could say, it wouldn't be Victorian. It would be, I guess you could say Renaissance. Not really Renaissance. But if you look, well, I guess, yeah, because Renaissance is when a lot of paintings were done. So, because Dark Ages, there wasn't really anything. And before that, I mean, there was paintings, but there wasn't very many. So, yeah, I would say about in the Renaissance. If you look at any paintings from the Renaissance, like I know there's a famous one that went around on YouTube as a meme for a little while, where it was two gladiators fighting. If you take a look at that, it just, it makes a lot of sense, the way that they worked him armor-wise and made him look. It makes a lot of sense. But when it gets down to it, they didn't give him a lot of executions that really made sense. Because if I can... Yeah, of course not. But he does one where he gives them a thumbs up, and... or goes thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down, and the character who's being killed will go thumbs up, and do it frantically, and it'll cut their arm off, and he kills them. If they had done something like that, like where Gladiator, they could make it slow and methodical, which would be pretty cool to see, where say Gladiator punches someone in the face with his buckler shield. They land on the ground. He puts his trident to their throat, to their chest or their throat, and he goes thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, and the character would be thumbs up, and then he just sinks his trident into their chest. That would make a lot more sense to me. That would be pretty cool. But no, they went and screwed up they screwed up a perfectly good character by making him so ridiculous. And to be honest, he would be more or less like a legionnaire than he would a centurion. Well, no, I mean, I guess he could be, but then again, the faceplate is also a lot all wrong. The rest of the armor is pretty spot on to, not entirely, but it's decently accurate for the most part. I mean, a lot of the stuff that he has, such like the cone, like the way his helmet is, the little thing on top of his helmet that would allow for like a, how can I put this? Like a the mohawk that you see them have stereotypically. The Roman gladius, the use of the gladius, that's also pretty big apparent. To be fair, if they were gonna make him like the way they made him, they should have just given him a tower shield and called it a day. Really, they made him pretty spot on for the most part, minus the helmet. But then again, not very many people show their face that much, except for Shaman. Shaman, I think, yeah, Shaman's the only character who actually shows their face. Like, their full face. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Highlander. Sorry about that. But these two characters are the only ones who really show their whole face. Why couldn't they have done that with Centurion is my question. Because if you even look it up, like, just online, like right now or something, you would, like, if you just look up a Roman Legion helmet, you would see this is the perfect shape. Like, they couldn't have done any better. I mean, they could have came out with the ear slot just a little bit. You know, give it a little ear protection. But other than that, this is really spot on. It's just the mask doesn't make sense. It would have made sense for a gladiator to have a mask because they have to protect their entire head, which is the reason that gladiator looks the way he does. But it just, Centurion just does not make sense. Like, whatsoever. I mean, I get his concept. I get how he's supposed to be. But if he's supposed to be like a representation of, give or take, a Roman legionnaire, which is what he is modeled off of, and the creators even said so, and you can tell it with the way that he is wearing segmented plate on his shoulder. You know, his, I guess you could say kilt, or loincloth, or however you want to put that, the little flurly bit at the bottom of his armor. That is pretty spot on. His boots and his shin guards are, I mean, he doesn't even have boots, but his shin guards and his gauntlets are pretty spot on as well. I mean, at least the forearm part. I mean, the glove, it would be a far stretch. The chest was, I would give them, I would say, you know, in the later stages, yeah, they probably would have wore something like this. I mean, if you look back on the, let me see, on the Spartans wore stuff like that, except theirs were leather, and where Greece and Romans were very obsessed with the human body. It was, you know, this was their idea of a perfect male, which, you know, six-pack pecs. So they wanted to copy that onto their armor to make their, you know, their legionnaires look fierce, like the perfect war machine. But I do understand why they did it the way they did. You know, hell, he's a pretty good character overall. He just doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, the only people who actually make sense, for the most part, minus one character, is the, like, it would have to go to the Vikings. I do have to say that. Raider is pretty accurate to a lot of the, for lack of a better term, heavies when it came to Vikings. I mean, Vikings would typically use a long pole arm with just an axe on the end of it for their two-handed weapon. It was more or less used as a weapon used in clan fights. Warlord's really spot on. The shield, brown shield, accurate to a freaking T. Same with his sword, his short sword. His short sword couldn't get any more accurate. His armor, on the other hand, that's a different story. The chainmail, apparent, well, depending on what shoulder piece you use. The concept of the chainmail he had, it wouldn't be something that the common soldier would have. It would be something that, you know, I mean, these you got to think of it this way. They were slightly more modern savages, for lack of a better term. They were burn the women, rape the houses, and vice versa. They would be wearing stuff that was made of, leather, maybe some metal for helmets. Shields would definitely be made out of metal and wood. Swords, definitely metal, of course. Maybe a gauntlet. One shoulder piece would be metal. But the accompaniment of chainmail, I'm not entirely sure. I have never looked too much into Vikings, but I would say that it didn't come till later. For this idealization of the time period, given the fact we're not given a very accurate time period. Berserker definitely wouldn't be wearing chainmail. Backed by popular belief, chainmail it's maneuverable, not to this extent, unless he was wearing a vest, which it kind of looks like he is, but we can't see under that arm plate too much, and it looks like it comes down over his shoulder. The leather that he wears is pretty accurate, I would say, for someone who would be wearing something like this, and be with his fighting style. The mask just doesn't make sense. Yeah, they were tribal, but something like that just wouldn't make sense. They would probably go into battle with a small helmet, maybe no helmet if they were feeling badass, which, hey, it's a freaking Viking, of course they're gonna feel badass. Valkyrie, now this is something that they got pretty decently accurate, minus the size of the shield, and I would say, hold on, let me take a look at this. Her pike, aka spear, is pretty accurate as well, for the most part. I could say there's definitely, its make, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It'd probably be, I would say it would probably be a half tang, rather than what it looks to be, where it's just a head. They usually didn't use that way, because the amount of, nails were not as sturdy back then as they are now. They really weren't, and neither were anything to drive between metal and wood. So they would typically refrain from that as much as possible, and they would use tangs, and they would probably taper probably that bottom piece that you see just below that last rivet that looks like what that is a rivet. That place where the wood meets the metal, they would probably have that, at least in some way, they would have it tapered so that when they started hammering that section, when they heated it up and hammered it, it would curve inward onto the actual hunk of wood and would kind of sink in, sort of. You see, spears really interested me at one point, so the idea of how the Vikings did it pretty much, set me to the wind, and I looked up a lot about it. And, the fact that I've seen a Viking sword, in a museum before, I can say that is pretty spot on to exactly what a Viking sword looks like when it comes to a warlord. Now moving on to my heritage. The idea of Kinsei is pretty spot on, minus the random floating arm pieces. They really wouldn't be that maneuverable. I can go on ahead and tell you that right now. Someone who has actually dressed like this before. I know it sounds really nerdy, but I just decided to do it to see how it went. How difficult or how ornamental it was for my ancestors. So this really stuck out to me, and yeah, they were, I would say that, yeah, they were kind of that big in the appearance of wood. That's kind of a hit or miss situation. Kinsei uses an Odachi, which means he would be roughly somewhere between Shogun and Samurai. Um, the differences between there, I could kind of explain, but it's a bit difficult. A Shogun is, I would say, to give you a decent example, is like a general or a king. Shoguns, they ruled for a while. In feudal Japan, they ruled over over their houses. And these shogun would war with each other. And so, samurais were basically made as a shogun's main defense. Shogun would train samurai, usually either themselves or they would have basically kind of like a basic training for them. And samurais didn't exactly use katanas a lot. They didn't use wakizashis a lot either. The wakizashi was actually a backup weapon. A tanto was ceremonial. And the fact that he has what looks to be 2 tantos in his belt just doesn't make sense. That one's handle resembles a wakizashi, but the fact that the blade doesn't come out the bottom... the fact that the blade doesn't show up near the bottom of his coat, because a wakizashi's pretty freaking big. Actually, I used to own one, got stolen, but a wakizashi is best. I wouldn't say it's half the size of a katana. It's roughly, its ratio of its size comparison to a katana, I would say, is about like 3 inches shorter. But other than that, he's pretty spot on when it comes to helmet. Chest plate's pretty spot on. That looks to be metal, not wood. So that's pretty spot on. The segmented style of his shoulder pieces, that's pretty spot on. I would say that, yeah, they probably would use wood for those. The wrist gauntlets, on the other hand, that's a hit or miss situation. Some would use wood. Some would use more conventional materials, such as I would say very thick leathers, almost hide. Because I don't play Viking. They're bitch. No, I'm kidding. But, I don't play Viking that often. Shigoki, let me just go on ahead and point this out. So let me just rip off the band-aid for those people who, honestly, to God, thought Shigoki was legitimate. No, Shigoki's not historically accurate, goddammit, okay? Let me just be honest here. Shigoki is not by any means historically accurate. Yes, they had sumo at the time, but were sumos used in war? Hell no. Their fat asses couldn't run fast, and that's what they needed on the battlefield, was people who could run fast and swing. Sumos were a conventional form of, I guess you could say, of entertainment for shoguns, emperors, even kings at some points, in feudal Japan, and are still very popular today in Japan. Orochi is weird. I honestly can't put a damper on Orochi. He doesn't make sense. Even though I love the character, as you can tell, he's the highest. He's honestly my highest rank. He just doesn't make sense to me. The O-ring that he has there on the side of his belt simulates that there should, in theory, there should be a wakizashi, a tanto there, and also a sheath for his katana. But he would be your idea of a regular samurai. Because if going off of the way that Kinsei looks, he looks more like a shogun with the ornamental mask and the ornamental headdress and his not wakizashi but odachi. So the Kinsei is kind of a gray area. He just doesn't make sense whatsoever. He has the right equipment for such things. He wears armor that is pretty much spot on, minus the rope. But he's a very gray area character. He just doesn't really make sense. Nobushi is pretty. I mean, I would say he's spot on. They're pretty accurate to the armor that these people would wear. Not very much. They were meant to be light, kind of like infantry, sort of, but not entirely. Infantry would be led more by samurais. These people would be there to assist the samurai in any way. No, they were not stereotypically women. Japan was pretty strict about that shit. They didn't allow women to fight in wars. Their idealization is that women were meant to be at home. So, yeah, which, I mean, probably, to be completely honest, the way samurais were, they weren't as honorable as people think. They really weren't. In battle against one another, yes. When raiding a village, no. It was just like Vikings, man. Burn the women, rape the houses. It was terrible. I mean, even Japan in World War II was terrible. So you can imagine the kind of shit they did in feudal Japan. Yeah, you're right, bitch. Bitch, you are actually correct. He's pretty much like how can I play it? How can I explain this? In a sense, he is one of the most historically accurate, but Warlord is spot on. At least his base armor is, because if you look at Warlord's base armor is extremely spot on. Like, let me come back here. It's cloth with a bit of leather. Is his base armor. Because I haven't leveled him up a bunch. Oh wow, I'm actually wearing his default. Holy shit. Maybe, no, hold on. Oh shit, okay. His default has a little ponytail when they fixed that. His helmet's pretty, I mean, kind of accurate, I would say. Yeah, it's pretty accurate actually. The nose guard would be just a little bit shorter. Wouldn't be as jagged. It'd be more or less reminiscent to this, just not as detailed. His chest is extremely accurate. Shield and sword, to a freaking T, man. Like, they seriously couldn't have gotten any better. Like, even if they tried. I mean, like, this version is not very, but this version is. These two versions are spot on. Like, this is exact. Like, this would be more exact than this, but if we're going for aesthetic purposes, I prefer this. But that's besides the point. Aesthetics doesn't really matter when it comes to historical accuracy. But in all honesty, Warlord would be the most historically accurate. Now Shinobi. Let's be frank here. Shinobi is only mildly historically accurate. I mean, they have a place for him to have what would be, well, most people would say ninja sword. They have him with they have a jug for his poison. They have extra rope for his grappling hook, which would be under the grappling hook. Oh, okay, so I guess that's just random rope in the front. They have pouches. I'm assuming that back pouch would be for his smoke tablets or dust. Probably dust, more or less dust. Because back by popular belief, Shinobis actually would carry around a small bag of dust that when they threw some of it into the eyes of enemies, it would have a glass in it to blind them. Yeah, that's pretty freaking brutal. The armor is pretty much spot on, to be honest. Minus the spikes. The leather would be spot on. They would not use dual commas. There would just be one comma. I mean, at least, how can I put this? The commas would be, they wouldn't be attached to chain. Commas are not meant to be thrown whatsoever. You can tell that by the design. They're not meant to be thrown. They're meant to go into someone's body and cause as much bleed as possible. Now, Shuriken and Kunai were meant to be thrown, which is surprising, given the fact that they chose to give him a chain and make him kind of like God of War or Kratos. That just kind of made me laugh a bit. Now, when it comes to his attire, his clothes underneath the armor are pretty historically accurate when it comes to the color. That midnight bluish color there, pretty historically accurate, pretty spot on. Because they would do blue instead of black because blue blends in with the sky better, surprisingly. Aramasha, now I will be frank here, Aramasha is not whatsoever historically accurate. The idea behind Aramasha is pretty spot on though. The two Tontos on the left, using dual katanas. Aramashas were seen as sellswords. They were samurai who chose not to take the honorable way out of their duty. Because samurai didn't retire, really. There's, like, how can I put this? If their shogun died in war, they died in war. They died for their shogun. They were not meant to survive whatsoever. And if they did anything wrong and dishonorable to their people, really, until, I would say about third era Japan. First era and second era of Japan, they were really freaking honorable. And if you were taken up as a samurai, you typically didn't make it home to see your kids graduate. Because your ass either died more or your shogun was like, I'm sick of you, kill yourself, and you did what you were told. So, Aramasha, the only reason he is at any way historically accurate is that Aramasha, this is a very rough translation. This is not spot on whatsoever. I'm not saying this is right, but I want to say that it means somewhere along the lines of betrayal, or what do they call it? AWOL. They're practically, in a sense, a samurai who either killed their shogun or just abandoned their shogun. Typically, they would kill their shogun as a sign of strength, or as an attempt of strength. A good representation of this being a thing we could probably say would be the movie 13 Assassins. 13 Assassins kind of portrays the life of an Aramusha pretty spot on, minus the double swords thing. 13 samurai, their shogun gets killed, and they ambush the bastard who did it, and they kill him. And they all die in battle, except for the last one. The last one doesn't die in battle, but he kills himself because he has no reason to live. His shogun is dead. He couldn't prevent it. Therefore, he is still considerably trash at being a samurai. But they become Aramusha in a vengeance attempt for their shogun, which is successful. But this version of him is completely false. It's just there to be flashy. Shaman's historically inaccurate. Case closed. Highlander. The claymore is the only thing. The claymore and maybe the armor, minus the cape, historically accurate for the most part. The sword would be a claymore that resembles a claymore, minus the handle. It'd be a full tang, so the blade looks pretty spot on. Again, he would probably wear a helmet. He wouldn't wear so much fur. I mean, he would wear fur under his armor to stay warm. But typically you want your armor on the outside, fur on the inside. Stable. The semblance of a kilt is pretty apparent. I wouldn't say he's not so much of a Viking as he is a Scotsman, which kind of makes the idea of him being named Highlander pretty funny, because, you know, he's no William Wallace by any means. He's not even the guy from the Highlander movie. By any means, he doesn't use a katana, so clearly not him. But he looks like a Scotsman, you know? So, I mean, never mind, wait, that other movie was called Braveheart. The one with William Wallace, and it was called Braveheart. Never mind. But he's no Braveheart. He's definitely not technically a Highlander, because, I mean, let's be real here. He's no mythical immortal. He's pretty easy to defend against, as long as you know how to dodge in the correct way. And if you learn his attacks, he's pretty butter. But I mean, as a character in general, he's kind of confused. He's labeled as a Viking, but he's actually a Scotsman, because if you look at his kilt is flannel. Which I know sounds really dumb, but just listen. It's flannel, and the reason why is it is made, well, it's not entirely flannel, let me put it this way. It looks flannel. The reason why looks flannel is because Celts, when they would war between clans, they had their own special fabrics that they would make. Their kilts, their family heirlooms. They had their clan cloth, which would have a specific pattern, so that they knew who was who, basically. I know this because my stepdad, he descends from the Beck clan, and they have like a castle over in Ireland that nobody lives in, because his ancestors apparently like boiled people alive. So that's pretty, you know, I wouldn't want to live there either, personally. But I mean, I kind of would, because having my own castle would be pretty freaking dope. But I mean, hey man, you know, him and my mom passed away. If we living in a freaking castle, I'm like, hey, the next heir to the freaking throne. I mean, come at me, bitch. I'm practically a king. Anyway, but no, I mean, he's also a very confused character. He's a Scotsman running with Vikings, who were actually Norse. They would hail from places such as Iceland and, well, not even Iceland, probably Greenland, because Greenland and Iceland are backwards, and I always get them confused. Sham's just fucking retarded. There's no point for me to even speak about her. Lawbringer, pretty accurate. The full plate armor, helmet, pretty accurate. Now, that sexy ass freaking halberd, definitely accurate. Couldn't have done a better representation of a halberd. Their gloves are pretty spot on, minus the spikes, and you know, you pretty much got it. Again, Peacekeeper was never a thing. She was just never a thing. She's totally historically inaccurate. They had no one like this, probably. I would say that maybe it's a very long shot, but there probably was maybe one person who was like this. I know what people are going to say, but Joan of Arc dressed as a warden, for lack of a better term. She dressed like a knight, and she fought for France. This would be like English, probably. Maybe, yeah, I guess you could say France in some way, maybe, because some of the styles of the armor, and this, especially the shields of the Conqueror, kind of hint toward France. Also, the idea that he uses a flail, That's pretty spot on, except for the flail's handle. That's a bit short. But since they don't give an accurate description of what time period we're technically in, I'm going to leave it open for speculation that that's pretty spot on, because there's two versions of a flail. One has a longer handle so that it can't come back and hit you in the hand, which, by the way, this flail looks is that if he was to lift his arm a little bit, the ball on the end of the chain, the maul, would come back and probably crack his freaking knuckles, at least his like pointer finger or index finger. But that's besides the point. Other than that, the helmet would be pretty. The original helmet, not my helmet, but the original helmet's pretty accurate. Warden, minus the spikes, shorten that sword up a bit and thin it a bit because it's a little too thick, and make him a dude, and you're pretty spot on. I chose to go as a female because the Apollyon thing, because it just made sense that if my character was going to say, I am war, might as well be a chick speaking in a chick's voice. I mean, let's be honest here. That just would sound ridiculous if it was a guy. So, and that goes for just about any other character. I don't know what time it is over here, and I've been streaming for 2 hours now, so you can understand why I'm a little tired. Plus, I had school today, so. And bitch, given the fact that his name is the way he is, I'm assuming, bitch, you're probably my friend Caden. Hold on, sorry, my girl just texted me. That's weird. Okay. Okay, well, I was trying to look at my comment section on my phone. But I don't understand why the hell it's doing this. But, you know, hey. You win some, you lose some. Either way, I can still see your all's comments on the screen. I'm gonna stop rambling about armors and shit and get right back into the game. Yeah. Battle resolution. Alright. For those of you who actually paid attention during the armor rant, there's your history lesson. Caden, you don't have to go to school next week. No, I'm kidding. Because God knows DJ Dr. Anderson is definitely not going to teach us about that. But anyways, going on into playing. What time is it? I need to look at that shit. Oh, it's 10. Holy shit. Okay. It's 10 o'clock. My stepdad should be home in like 2 hours, I think. Yeah, 2 hours. I'm gonna... Damn, okay, that was a yawn. That was a yawn and a half. That was tripping balls. Anyway. I'm gonna continue to play as Orochi, because I really want to get the handle on these new movesets. Oh. So it's 7 where you are, Lewis. So that means you're... Yeah, you're 3 hours behind me. It's odd. I'm trying to think of what time zone you're in.
Round 1.
But yeah, Lewis, like I said, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hopefully you enjoy this channel. And enjoy the live stream. So, sometimes I'll just, okay, are you seriously gonna come for me directly? That's a pretty bitch move. What the fuck? What was taking me so long? Yeah, I'm gonna die because this stupid cunt. Really? Man, this fucking gay. Trying to be honorable, trying to get out of her way, and she comes right for me, really. Fucking dumb. Oh great, not very much space to dodge, but whatever. Click freaking square, and all she's gonna do is this, because all she has to do is keep me cornered. Yeah. I honestly hate fucking Ibushi. Everybody's like, here, just let me spam bleed, which is a pretty fucking cunt tactic. And honestly, garbage.
Round
But
3.
I hate people who spam meta. This is honestly why I really kind of want to start streaming on computer. Because the PC version of For Honor is surprisingly honorable.
Victory! Round 4.
Fucking suck that. Yeah, she's gonna run for me. I can't even run from her. I can't even fucking run from this bitch because she clearly.
Defeat.
Yeah, go on ahead and emote spam because you're completely dishonorable. Yeah, we'll go them titties, you fucking whore. Anyway. That shit being out of the way. Kinda just hate fucking dishonorable people. Seriously. I just miss the way this game used to be. So much. Because, I mean... this game actually used to be decent. You know, everybody was emoting. Everybody was giving you time to get ready. Nobody was like... people were just guard breaking to see if you were there. You didn't have dicks doing that. It was bullshit.
Round one.
I like how one, like, she didn't even deflect me or, like, this is why Shaman is fucking garbage. Because she sits still and wins. She moves quickly and she wins.
Victory!
Get shat on, bitch. Get shat on.
Round three.
Don't you freaking wow me. You wanted to play like garbage, you get treated like garbage.
Victory! Round four. Victory!
War. I am war.
Freaking salty nigga. Anyway, yeah. I love making little bitches rage quit. Jesus. Cause it doesn't affect me whatsoever. Cause it's goddamn priceless that you act like trash. I'm a Nereis? Ooh. That's a beautiful card. I like that. I do need to back out the world because
Round one.
Incontinent!
Round two.
Incontinent!
Defeat. Round three.
Incontinent! Incredibili! Incontinent!
Defeat. Round one. Victory!
Okay, let's go.
Victory!
Warriors, both of you.
War. I.
Round 3. Defeat.
You call that a fight?
Round 4.
This is fun.
Defeat. Round 5.
Well, that'll teach you. I'll feed you.
Victory.
You fucking stomped on.
two. Defeat. Round three. Defeat.
The stupid little fucker, all he does is dodge tag. He's honest to God trash. He's not even like rep 1 with him. He's fucking garbage. Well, now I gotta fix some shit.
Round one.
You'll have to do better than that.
2. Victory!
War. I am war.
Round 3. Victory! Round 4.
War.
Defeat.
Well, for the people on my stream, this will probably be my last game, and then I'm going to watch one of my favorite YouTube series that I've come across,
Round one.
Critical Role. If you don't know what they are, they're a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors who play Dungeons and Dragons, and I highly recommend watching them. Like, they're another level of awesome. Like, no joke.
Round two.
What? Fight you? That's not a trial. That's an execution. Do I have to kill all of them myself?
Victory.
War. I am war.
Round three. Victory.
Good work, you dog! War. War.
Round four.
What do I pay you for? Fight! Fight to the last man!
Victory.
Well, guys, this is Flaming Maniac, signing off. Have a good night, everybody. And seriously, highly promote Critical Role. One of the best shows I've found so far. No animation, just a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors playing Dungeons and Dragons.